Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. We are back at it again. This love here for good music talk radio, your number one African Caribbean online radio. To those of you who are watching us around the globe, you can see SHASHA MARLEY right behind me. My brother is, bearing his weight on my shoulders. This is something that I've cooked up this afternoon, this morning, this evening, wherever you may be, and I'm so happy that I'm with him in the studio. Spiritually, Ghana doing great, great, great. This is going to be the third stint on this radio station. This is his radio station as well. And with me to have this conversation today, this afternoon, this evening, this morning, wherever you may be, is Ron Mollinga running, and Petraa will be joining us momentarily. Ron, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you doing today, TYB? I'll tell you first that here in the west side of Canada in British Columbia, where I live right now on Vancouver Island, it is absolutely gorgeous out today. Beautiful sunny day, no rain, no shine. I'm going to go for a bike ride after we speak here to our lovely guest. So it's just that kind of day here. So I'm doing great. Been writing some songs. So yeah, I have no complaints. Besides, who's going to listen to them anyways?
It's my new look today. And
yes.
Yes. Let me don on my glasses. Those of you who are doing this for the first time, this is the new look TYB. I'm doing this because I'm so excited that we have SHASHA here. SHASHA is in the house. You know what?
Yeah.
Let me show you something. As soon as the flyer was posted, there was lots of love from the Caribbean, from Africa, from Poland, from everywhere. They know that this man is going to have a conversation with us. As our listeners know that we don't have interviews here, we have conversations. It's not a gotcha moment. That is why we make everybody feel comfortable. As an artist, I don't want to feel uncomfortable. So, without much ado, I would like to take this opportunity to welcome Africa's superstar, Roots Reggae superstar, international recording star, SHASHA MARLEY. Hi, SHASHA, how are you doing?
Thank you so much, TYB. Thank you for having me. I'm always super excited to be on your show, and today we have Ronnie there, so I'm excited to meet you, Ronnie.
Likewise.
Yeah, and let me say hi to all your listeners and viewers around the world. And this is me, SHASHA MARLEY, talking from Ghana, West Africa.
That's it, my
yeah.
That's the show's over, folks.
Like I said before, folks, this is the third stint that SHASHA is having with us, and I'm so happy that he's here because we started the station with him. He belongs to this radio station. He's a family member. Ron, Petraa, everybody, and all of you out there, listeners out there, we are building this infrastructure together to bring the best in music, the best in us, to the whole wide world. And
don't forget TYB. Don't forget TYB. We used to tour together. Back in the days.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
You're taking me back. You're taking me back.
Right.
I remember, Ron, I was on a tour in Ghana, and guess what? I was performing in Tema, and oh my God, I met SHASHA, and that night, SHASHA blew the whole house. He was wearing a monk. Well,
that's right.
He came and everybody
has Ron been in Ghana? Has Ron been in Ghana?
No, never have it. Nope.
What are you waiting for? What are you waiting for, Ron? Yeah. This is your home, man. Come home. Come home.
Okay. All right. Thank you for the invite. I appreciate that. Very kind of you.
That's right.
I'm going to be bringing him home. And folks, without much ado, we would like to open up the conversation with SHASHA And as usual,
That's right.
well, Petraa is not here. So, well, the honors will go to Run, shoot.
Sasha, it's so good to meet you. I wish I could see your face in person, but we have a beautiful background of you, so we just have to pretend your lips are moving.
Yeah, it's my honor.
I'm sure you get asked this all the time, so I'm going to ask the first question. With your last name being Marley, Reggae, is there any relation to the famous, of course, that we know Bob and Ziggy? Are you related in any way to them?
Well, there's no blood connection, you know. I mean, I was born Julius Amwasichi. That's the name my father gave me, Julius Amwasichi. And here am I got to high school, and my high school at the time, St. John's School in Second D. I'm talking of mid 70s, late 70s, thereabout. And we had the best student band in Africa, arguably. I mean, no doubt. St. John's School Band. At the time I was there, we had the best student band in Africa, the Matthew Chapter 5 band.
Yes.
And I was singing all the Jamaican music coming to Ghana at the time in the mid 70s and late 70s. You know, I was singing all the Jamaican music, you know, and especially Bob Marley was very famous here at the time. And I was singing almost all his albums. So we used to organize what we call pop chains. That is inter-high school band competition. And anytime there was a pop chain, my band was first, you know. And so, you know, my friend from Zimbabwe gave me the name Shasha, meaning the great one or the champion, you know.
Nice,
and everybody started calling me Shasha everywhere on campus. And then the other guys added the Mali to it because I was singing reggae. This was back in 1978. You know, so everybody started calling me Shasha, Marley. But you know, in school, they call you by a name and you don't want it. That's how they call you the more. You know, I didn't want the name because my father was the director of education in the region, in the Western region I come from. And my father always said to me, I took you to school to go and study to be a lawyer. You call yourself Bob Marley. You know, my father was mad at me. So I didn't want him to hear the name SHASHA MARLEY, you know. But the friends, my colleagues kept calling me SHASHA MARLEY. And I became famous all over the country. I mean, among the high schools, you know. So I started to put it into recording business, you know, when I got into professional music, you know, because I realized a catchy name, you know, it's a real catchy name. Yeah. So it started back in 1978.
Wow.
Yeah.
So did you grow up like many Africans do, singing first in the church, or where did you start singing first? You know, you have a beautiful voice. So tell us about where you started singing. Did you go to University for Music? Did you do any of that? Give us some of your background.
No. Here's what happened. My mother was singing for the church choir, and my father was playing the piano in the church. So anytime I go for choir practices, you know, I sing alongside the choir. And then I got into professional music. I started playing with bands, cover bands. I played with cover bands all over the country, many times. You know, I played with cover bands, singing all kind of genres, you know, for a long time before, you know, I became a solo artist. You know.
Yeah.
So that's how. Yeah.
It's like how many groups start as being starting with cover bands first, so you can make some money playing, and then moving on to their own careers. So yeah, it's I'll say that is more the North American approach to things. That's so much different. You're fortunate to get on stage so much. I can't recommend that to people enough. So so how do you think things have been going so far?
Well, you know, I've always lived with music, so it's normal. It's normal. Sometimes it's fast, sometimes it's slow. You know, so it's a slow and fast season. You know, but it's good. It's good. I feel good. I feel good about it.
Yeah.
You know.
No, that's some great stuff.
Yeah.
TYB.
Yes. My brother, my question to you This morning, this afternoon, this evening is.
Oh no!
Yeah, TY.
Yes.
That's
Sounds
right.
loaded.
You put it all good together. You said something that is very interesting, and your dad at the time, as I always say to listeners out there, that I went through the same kind of structures in Africa. Everybody wanted their kids to be musicians. No, sorry, I'll take that back. Everybody wanted their children to be professionals, lawyers, engineers, and all that kind of stuff. I went through the same thing as SHASHA. But the fact of the matter is that once the student group became so popular and he became popular, my question to you is, how did that feel?
The support from his parents, you referring
Yes,
to?
yeah. How did your father feel? Because in the first place, he didn't want you to do it, as we all sort of went through it. So how did your dad feel when you became so popular right after school, and then everybody was SHASHA MARLEY, SHASHA MARLEY? How did it go with you? I think we've lost SHASHA for a moment, but then this is Ron. This is a good beginning to this conversation. He is somebody who I know personally. We've performed before and stuff like that, but like what he is espousing is the truth, because I always say this each time we are here, and I'm talking about my background where I studied music.
Yeah, so you grew up in Ghana, so
that's right. So I mean, I think it's synonymous with Africans in general, because back in the day, it's like a soccer. You go and play soccer, and then you go and get hurt, and you go back home, you get the lick. But today, parents are pushing their kids to go into academies and how to learn something, to go into the studio to record and do stuff, because now it has shifted, because it was stigmatized. You know, music was stigmatized, like everybody, you know what, my son shouldn't do that and that kind of stuff. So my question to SHASHA was, SHASHA, how did that feel?
Come again, please, TYB, the network, please.
Yeah, how did your dad feel when all of a sudden you blew up and everybody was talking about SHASHA?
Yeah, you know, TYB, you know, my name, my original name, I'm Sechi.
Yes.
The Sechi family, Sechi family in Ghana are known to be lawyers. I come from a family of lawyers. And when I was growing up, I was brilliant in school. You know, my father used to make me listen to the TV news and in English and ask me to explain to him in local dialect, Fanti.
Wow.
You know, and I could do that. I could read the newspapers and explain to my father, you know. So my father said I was also going to be a lawyer. He wanted me to be a lawyer. You know, so it sort of became a very big disappointment, you know, to him when I got into music, you know. Matter of fact, for about 5 years, we were not in good terms, you know. My father kicked me out of the house, asked me to not use his name anymore.
What?
And that even gave me the opportunity to go out there in the street, and I started playing with the bands. My first band was with CK Man. You know, TYB. And I started playing with bands. Bands started touring with bands because, you know, I was not under my father again, you know. My father said I disappointed him because he wanted me to be a lawyer. And I chose music. But it wasn't me. It was music that chose me. You know, music that chose me. But my first award.
Wow, that's very interesting.
I think he's coming and going here.
Yeah, but that's interesting.
We've heard this many times from people saying the same thing he's saying.
The best best reggae artist in the West.
In West Africa, right? Yeah.
Yeah. My first award was in 1999. You know, there was a company awarding the Western Region artist, and I was the best reggae artist. My father was so proud. He came and he received the award on my behalf. What? And he gave a lecture. He gave a lecture, you know, at the theater. He was saying, I picked the music from him. He said, I picked the music from him, because he was a pianist. He was a pianist. So not that I'm doing music. Yeah, not that I'm doing music. He was also a musician. That's why he said, you know. But a lot of people knew my story. So there was a big shout out at the hall, you know. I mean, it was a great event. And the following weekend, Jimmy Cliff was in my hometown. Jimmy Cliff was in my hometown at the Jendu Park, Second D. My father called me and he said, Shasha, you know what? I'm going to buy you a ticket. Go and watch Jimmy Cliff.
And he called you, and he called you Shasha?
He called me Shasha. I mean, look, look, my father walked in the street of Second D, and all the children will be pointing hands at him. That's Shasha Marley's father. Shasha Marley's father. Then he'll turn around and say, yes, Shasha Marley is my son. He's my son. You know, he became so proud of me, you know, before he passed on. You know, may he rest in peace. He was very great. He was very great. Yeah.
So supportive.
Yeah. You know, I mean, I've got many stories to tell, you know, regarding, the journey, my musical journey.
That's what the listeners and your fans around the world want to know, because this program is, as you know, it's not a gotcha one. It's something that we put it out there for us to know who the artist is. And today,
that's right.
President, and I mean, I'm with you. Your journey, you know, duplicates mine. So go ahead, please.
That's right. That's right.
And, how did Mom fit into the picture?
Yeah. And then I got into music. But it will amaze you to know that when I was a child, growing up, you know, sitting on the floor in my father's living room, watching television and listening to his music from his turntable, he had an album by Isaac Hayes. You know, and this was Isaac Hayes' live album titled Live in Sahara Tahoe. You know, so I used to listen to Isaac Hayes growing up. And in the year 2000, Isaac Hayes was in Ghana with Steve Wonder and John Warwick. Matter of fact, in 1993, I was playing with a band for the Ashanti Gophers. You know, and this is a gold mine company.
Gold Nuggets?
Yeah, Gold Nuggets, that's right. By the gold mining company. And I was playing the band. Steve Wonder was in Ghana. He came to the mining place to touch gold. And I sang his song, Happy Birthday, and he played the drums. It was, I've got pictures with him on that, you know, and it was a great occasion to me. I met Steve Wonder. I mean, it was my dream, you know. And then in 2002, Isaac Hayes came to Ghana. At the time, I was leading a benefit dubbed Stop AIDS, Love Life. You know, we did an advert on HIV/AIDS, creating awareness and the stigma. You know, we're trying to eradicate the stigma about HIV/AIDS and all that. I mean, my career, I've been known as the musician with a heart. You know, I've done a lot of benefits in my career.
Good for you.
So I did HIV/AIDS, and this was sponsored by Johns Hopkins University in New York. It was a big project. I mean, I led about 15 top Ghanaian musicians in a fight against HIV/AIDS, going from village to village, touching orphans, you know, eradicating the stigma, you know. And then Isaac Hayes was in Ghana, and he saw me on TV. My video on HIV/AIDS on TV. So who's this guy? So he's Shasha Marley. He said, come on, I want to work with this guy. So in 2003, Isaac Hayes flew me to America for the first time, straight to Hollywood.
Wow.
On KLM, first class in KLM, straight to Los Angeles. Put me on a 5-star. I was picked for the first time in my life. I was picked from the airport by Stretch Limousine, you know. Stretch Limousine.
Special.
That's right.
With this beautiful, when I came out of the airport, this beautiful white girl was holding my name on a placard. It said Shasha Marley. I said, yeah, this is me. I'm Shasha Marley. He said, "Wow, hey, that's Petraa. Hey, Petraa. Hey, how you doing?" That's right, man. Yeah. So this beautiful white girl picked me in a limo, and I was in a limousine in the street of Los Angeles, looking at the tall buildings. I'm like, wow. And this lady spoke to me, "Hey, anything in the freezer is for you. Everything in the freezer is for you." Man, I said, "Me?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Wow, let's go." Man, she took me to my hotel, beautiful 5-star hotel, And Isaac Hayes was flying in from Tennessee that afternoon to come meet me in Los Angeles. And here he came to meet me. We did a collabo, a song on HIV/AIDS dubbed "Stop AIDS, Love Life." He was also doing a project in Ghana, for AIDS orphans and all that. So I mean, man, and at the time I met with the Bee Gees, I met with Johnny Travolta, Steven Seagal, Tom Cruise, and all those big names. I never thought of meeting them in my life. So that's also another part of my story, my journey, musical journey. Yeah.
And the journey is so beautiful because you started well, and you know what? This is a very, I mean, this story is made for movie because you indicated your upbringing, and when Dad said, "Oh, you can't do that," and Dad, turned around and said, Shasha calling you Shasha. When he called you Shasha, that is something. It turned the whole thing out, around, and then here you are.
That's right.
Doing
That's
what
right.
you have to do, and then you've been very successful at that. And joining us is Petraa. Petraa is in the house. Petraa, you've been following the conversation. So this is your friend, your brother, Shasha. You have any question for him?
Hey, Petraa, how you doing?
I'm good, Shasha. How are you?
Yeah, great. Petraa and I are friends on Instagram, so I see all her posts. I follow her a lot. I'm following her a lot.
Time.
Yeah. That's right.
All
Yeah,
right.
sure. Well, it's a pleasure to have you on the show, and I have to say hi to the Love Bay family. Hey, Tehran,
Yeah, thank
QIP,
you.
Hey, Petraa. Hope you're doing well. You are, I'm sure.
We hope you're doing well, girl.
Yeah, most definitely. So, Shasha, I wanted to ask you, what has been your biggest inspiration to keep going in the music?
My inspiration. Well, first of all, I must say I'm a Christian,
Nice.
And when I was growing up and I started my music career, I mean, it's been a tough journey, I didn't have any help from anywhere. So my mother, when I was growing up, my mother always asked me to pray along the way. I mean, anytime I needed help and help is not coming from anybody, I must get on my knees and pray, and I'll get help from God. So my mother taught me how to pray, So my inspiration is reading the Word of God, reading the Bible. That's where I create my music from, And I get much inspiration from that, So my inspiration comes from the Word of God mostly. You know what I mean?
Most definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I totally relate. I'm the same way. You know what I mean? So can you just share with us like a time when, you needed to cling on to the word to kind of keep going? Like talk about some of the challenges that you faced in the music and how you overcame them. We'd love to really hear that.
Yeah.
Like the listeners will be really inspired by that.
Yeah, when I was doing covers, when I was playing with cover bands, sometimes it got very difficult along the way. Life was difficult, So when you listen to my music, the song titled Twin City Mafia. Twin City Mafia is my true life experience. And when I say Twin City, I mean 2IB knows what I mean by Twin City. Secondly, and Takoradi is my hometown, These are two cities joined together. So we call them the Twin City,
Nice.
And the struggles I went through growing up, sometimes wake up in the morning not knowing where your meal is coming from. The survivor becomes the fittest, And there was a time I went for 3 days and there was no food coming from anywhere.
Wow.
Yeah. So when you listen to my song, Twin City Mafia, there's a line there. I said I went for 3 days without food and water. You know, like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, put in the fire but never get burned. You know, these are all lines that are my personal line experience. You know, life experience. So that's how it is. I mean, it's not an easy road, Petraa.
Most definitely.
It's not an easy road, but I mean, we've come a long way. You know, we passed that line. We passed that line of struggle and all that. You know, yeah. This time is more relaxing.
Most definitely. But I mean, it's a blessing, you know, in a way, because I mean, you overcame those times, but in that journey, in those times of trials and struggle, you know, you learned, you know,
That's
there's a
right.
higher power guiding you, you know, and I think going through certain times, you learn humility, you learn perseverance, you know, you learn a
That's right.
strength within yourself that sometimes you don't even know that you even possess, you know. So the fact that you could encapsulate that in your music and inspire others is a beautiful thing, you know?
Yeah.
Most definitely. Thank you, Shasha. Ram?
The question I often bring up to artists,
you know, makes me know. You know what I mean? I'm saying, am I clear there?
Oh, I can hear you now. Sorry, Shasha, I couldn't hear you for a second.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm saying my life's experience makes me not want to see anybody suffering around me. You know what I mean? And that's how come I put together the SHASHA MARLEY Foundation. The SHASHA MARLEY Foundation is taking care of orphans, widows and widowers, you know, the needy and the poor. You know, where I live, I live in the countryside. I don't live in the city. I live in the country, you know, suburb. And there's a village right by me. And when I say village here in Ghana, in Africa, it's not like the village in Canada. You know what I mean? Yeah, this is a typical African village, you know. And my foundation, you know, make sure we take care of the widows and widowers and the orphans, you know. I mean, the needy there. And that's one thing why TYB, I used to dress in the hood, in that monk outfit. You know, that monk outfit is, I had it from the Roman Catholic Franciscan friars.
Oh, wow.
Yes, because I read a lot. I read a lot about St. Francis of Assisi. And this St. Francis of Assisi was a very wealthy person, you know, but due to his love for mankind and humanity, he left the comfort of his home and lived in the slum, to care for the poor and the needy. You know, so I took him as my patron saint. As my patron saint. You know, because that's the kind of life I always desired to live, to care for the poor and the needy, you know. So I decided to dress like the Franciscan friar.
Wow.
You know, telling everybody, all the wealthy people here, that if the world are full of Francis of Assisi, I mean, the world will be a better place to live, you know. You know, but here we are in Africa, wealthy people are supporting coup d'etats, you know, overthrowing governments. You know what I mean? Making women and children suffer.
Wow.
And that's what I'm against. That's what I'm against.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? That's what I'm against. I want to see women and children happy all the time. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Sure.
So SHASHA MARLEY Foundation, we care for the poor, the needy, and the sick, the widows and widowers, the orphans, and all of them. Yeah. Yeah.
That's beautiful, Shasha. Keep up the great work, you know, and keep inspiring the world through your music and your works.
Big ups. Thank you.
Yeah. Sasha, can I ask, like I ask many artists, when you're wanting to sit down and you're starting to go, okay, guys, or whoever you're working with or not working with, how do you start your writing process? What do you go about to get a song out there? Do you play a guitar? Do you play a piano? How do you go about writing it? I ask this, and I get asked about this quite a bit. So what's the process you go for when writing a song? You write 50 songs and pick 10 for an album, or do you not do an album? Do you do singles?
Well,
what do you do?
Well,
go ahead.
I get my music from around me. You know, I get music from around me. And I play a little bit of the flute. I play a little bit of the guitar. I play a little bit of the bass. a little bit of everything, you know. So when the song comes in mind, it comes with a rhythm first. When the rhythm comes in my mind, then I'll be singing the rhythm in me, and then the lyrics follows due to what is happening around me. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah. So as I play a little bit of guitar, I just pick up my guitar and strum some few chords, you know, and then I call in a producer, and then we put songs together. You know, am I making sense here?
Yeah.
Oh,
And
yeah.
do you record with other people, like other musicians, or you call it collaborating? Some people will call it collaborating, some people working with, whatever term you want to use. There's no right or wrong. But what happens when you go into the studio? Are you going into the studio when it comes to getting the final cut of the recording stuff?
Okay, so what I do mostly is I have a producer here in Ghana I start my works with, and I bring it over to the States. You know, my album Lost and Found, I recorded with Junior Marvin of Bob Marley and the Wailers. You know, Junior Marvin was playing the guitar for Bob Marley and the Wailers, you know. And then I work in the States, a studio called Lion and Fox in Washington, D.C. The engineer is Jim Fox. Jim Fox won the Grammy, the last 3 Grammys. He won the best reggae engineer. I've been working with Jim Fox. And I work with musicians in the States, you know, to finish my songs.
Yeah.
You know, because I play reggae and they understand reggae better, you know. They understand reggae better than we do here.
Why do you say that? Why is that, do you think?
Yeah, because, you know, reggae is not our music. It's not our music. I mean, Junior Marvin that I worked with, he played with Bob Marley.
Yeah.
The producer I worked with in the States, George Kwaku, used to play for the Wailers. He played with Yellow Man. He played with Burning Spear, you know. So they've got experience when it comes to reggae, you know. And most of the guys, the horn guys I used and all that, they play reggae bands, you know.
So
So when I lay the
tracks,
when I lay the tracks here and I bring them over to the States, they straighten it up. They add some more feelings to it, you know, and they straight up the lines, and we'll get good music together.
Yeah. So with other than those, have you collaborated with many other artists before? Because a lot of people will say you've got to collaborate with people. So tell me about that. Have you worked with other musicians other than, say, those that are I'll call them your studio guys? Who else have you worked with then? Tell us about that.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. You might be off here, Petraa. He's come and gone so far in the show. So
hey, Shasha, can you hear us? We're having a little bit of technical difficulties.
Yeah.
We've lost him briefly, but I think the conversation is going on so great. And to those of you listening to us, who are having some technical difficulties, but we have joined Shasha. Shasha, go ahead, please.
Yeah, so I'm saying that think of collaborations. I don't really love collaborating with people on my music. You know, I have a problem with that in a way, because you see, when I do a collaboration, I've done some few collaborations though. My song Lost and Found, I did a collabo with Monsoon. Monsoon was the #1 dancehall artist in Washington, D.C. You know, and I also collaborated with Bonnie Rocks. Bonnie Rocks was the lead singer for Third World. You know,
nice.
Yes, his single called Africa Unite. I did an intro for him. You know, and quite a few local artists too. But my problem on my music, collaboration on my music is a problem for me, because when I'm performing and the artist I collaborated with is not on stage there with me, it makes me feel, you know, because the thing is, when the song comes out and the song is a hit, probably because of the artist I collaborated with. His part is made a song a hit, you know, and then everybody buys the ticket and comes in, and the artist never shows up. You know, it's a problem for me. It's a problem for me.
Understandably so.
I'm not really into collaborations on my songs. If you want me to collaborate with you, I'll do it for you. You know, I'll do it for you. But on my songs, I want to go the old school way, the old school.
Yeah, I hear you very well. That's a good point, because you hear so many people collaborating together. We know they're not going to step on stage together because they live in 2, 3, 4 different countries, whatever it is. It's a really good point about collaborations.
Though is the current trend. Is the current trend, you know?
It is.
And
I hear a lot of people
all
saying.
the artists. I mean, an album of 12 songs, people do all the songs collaborations. You know, I don't have a problem with that. But on my songs, it's a problem for me.
Understandably so. You've given good reason as to why.
Yeah. You know.
Yeah. I'm gonna pass you over to Mr. Shades here.
Folks, we are in conversation with the amazing SHASHA MARLEY. He's all the way in Ghana, and he has joined us on the phone, and we are having a very great conversation. But he's telling a side of his life that a lot of people may not know, but he's feeling it out there for you to know that it didn't come easy, and he has been able to do so many things. And I'm so overwhelmed with what you've stated, because a lot of us don't think of where we came from in terms of helping. Once you get something, even if you are able to help somebody 1 cent, 2 cents, $3, that should go a long way. And for you to have had that foundation helping people, I mean, I tip my hat over to you, because that is rare. That is very, very rare in our industry. If I say in our industry, it is what it is, because there are a handful of artists who have come through here, and they are doing the same thing that you've done. And I'm telling you, I've known you for a long time, and I didn't know that you were a celebrity in Hollywood. That you went to Hollywood. My question to you now, SHASHA, is how do you see reggae going? I mean, the future of reggae, both in Africa and globally.
Good question.
And did you get what my question, SHASHA? I think we've lost him momentarily, but he'll be Did you get my question?
Come again, please.
Yeah. How do you see the future of reggae, both globally, and I will just take a little part of it, and in Africa as well, because in Africa you are the shining star when it comes to blues rock music, and how do you see it going? I mean, in the future of reggae music, because it's there, but we don't see it that how it used to be. How do you see it? What's going on? What one?
Well, for me, reggae music is my passion. It's my passion, whether it's going right or left is my passion, and it's amazing. Any song that comes in me comes in reggae form. You know what I'm saying? And what gives me inspiration, higher inspiration about reggae music? I see Burning Spear touring the world at his age, almost.
Yeah, he's in Kenya. I think he was in Kenya recently. I think I think he's still there, and I know Etana is also moving down.
Theaters and all that.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Yeah, TYB. So like I'm saying, I see Burning Spear was in Africa just quite recently. He played in Zambia, South Africa, Kenya, and it was all sold out. And it's roots reggae, the old reggae we know. So I say to myself, and I'm like, wow, at his age, almost 80 years, he's still touring the world, so that gives me a high inspiration. My music is doing extremely well in East Africa. You know what I mean? It's doing extremely well in East Africa, and that gives me all the royalties and all that. And I said to myself, wow, you know? So it's like, as the music is dying in your country, it's doing well in another country. You know what I mean? Right now in Kenya, I'm #1 talk of reggae music. You know what I mean? So you know, I love what I'm doing, and I believe the future is great.
Awesome. Folks,
Yeah.
we are in conversation with the amazing, once again, SHASHA Marley. Share the station with your friends and your friends' friends, and let them know that you discovered the radio station with the difference. That's Loud Afrobeat Music Talk Radio. Share the station, share the channel, like, subscribe. You know what? And I'll pass it on to Petraa.
Thank you, TYB. Yes, Shasha. So I wanted to kind of, I kind of wanted to kind of connect onto what TYB was saying in relation to the reggae industry, you know, because you know the industry that we're in, it has many sides to it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And if you look at reggae music right now, and I'm talking separately from dancehall, right? I'm talking about reggae music, like roots reggae, one drop, dub. I'm talking about our music. Now, how do you feel about the current state of reggae music right now? And in relation to certain challenges, or just how do you feel about the industry right now, and what improvement you think could be or needs to be made in the industry?
Well, you see, it's amazing. It's amazing that some folks, some younger folks are coming in, and I hear them doing reggae, and I say to myself, I mean, they're still, you know, sampling the music. You know what I mean? It's not like in Jamaica right now. Most of the songs coming out of Jamaica is not roots reggae.
I know.
It's dancehall, you know. So I sort of see that roots reggae is found its roots back in Africa, you know, because
that's deep.
It's a good question, Petraa.
Yeah, that's a very good question.
As we know,
and
really great answering it.
Yeah.
Sorry, Shasha, we couldn't hear you for a second there.
Yes, and you know, I must say that you know the genre reggae music, it has its roots in the African slave trade to Jamaica. You know, and I must say that it was the slaves taken out of Africa from my hometown, Elmina, Cape Coast. They started singing in the plantations in Jamaica. From out of the songs and chants of Africa, and through this kind of songs and chants of Africa, reggae music was born. So now Jamaica is no more doing reggae; they're doing dancehall, and African reggae musicians are doing reggae. So we believe that the genre is found its roots back home.
Wow.
You know, so it's good in Africa, no doubt. Africa loves reggae, roots reggae. They love dancehall too, but roots reggae has a place in Africa. You know what I mean? So it is our music. It's black music. It's black music. It is our music, and our music is back. You know, it's back home. So we are okay with it.
Most definitely.
We are okay with it.
So what collaborations do you envision, or would you want to see happen now that roots reggae is back home in Africa? You know, would you want to see more collaborations with Afrobeat artists, or would you want to see more?
I'd love to do collabo with a singer. So I don't want to do with a dancehall. You know, dancehall is kind of rap. You know, so when I'm performing and the singer is not around, I can learn his or her lines and do it.
True.
You know what I mean? Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So I will appreciate doing a collabo with a singer.
Most
so
definitely.
I could do her line when I'm performing and he or she's not around. You know, but if it's dancehall, blah 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 blah, I can't do it. I can't do it. That's not my style.
Yeah. Sure. I think it all boils down to the frequency, right? Because what
That's
you pretty much embody and what you stand for, and in relation to the frequency, I could talk in relation to sounds, right? So what roots reggae and what reggae music stands for, the frequency and the vibration that comes from that in comparison to dancehall music is very contradiction. You know what I mean?
Right.
You
Right.
have one sound celebrating love, unity, upliftment, and one that is
Exactly.
glorifying the negative aspects and the struggles within our culture and our community. So
Yeah.
it's like musical, vibrational, spiritual warfare happening. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's
Right.
like when you've kind of chosen a side, and I feel like the reggae artist, you start like what you sing for, Shasha, is exactly what you
Yes.
stand for, you know?
Yes,
So it's
exactly.
like when you do songs with collaboration with dancehall artists, like it's great to collaborate with artists, but again, it's like the frequency has to match. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
You're right.
So yeah, for
Absolutely.
sure. Yeah, if you want to
Absolutely. You
speak,
know.
speak on
So
it,
well, you know, I still would love to collaborate with Burning Spear. I love to do if it's Luciano, you know, and the old school, the old school.
Okay.
What about
Because
the new
yeah.
school? There must be some new school you want to collaborate with as well.
Oh yeah, yes, yes. Some new school. You know, what's the name called? Oh man, there are some names. There are some names though. When I hear
Kathy
their songs,
Matete is definitely one you got to connect with. We had her on a show. Her voice is phenomenal.
yeah.
Kathy
Okay,
Matete
okay.
is reggae as well.
So
Yeah.
when I'm ready to do it, you know, I think I'll have to connect, you know, contact you and
Yeah, and
get me
me,
some new
I'm
school.
here.
You know, let me put one thing. You said something that I'm so, you know, I've been quite listening to the conversation, but you said something that is very, very interesting. Collaboration.
Am I clear?
Collaboration.
Oh, I think
When it
we
comes to
there,
yeah.
Shasha. I think we cut off you, Abby. We can hear you
Pardon
for a
me?
second.
Okay.
Yeah.
The collaboration aspect of it. You said something that is very profound, and Ron, I think I saw Ron also shaking his head. If you collab and then you go out there to perform and the person is not there, that's not fun.
Yeah.
So the question is,
that's my problem.
that's right. But the question is, if it becomes a hit, whose hit is this? Is it whose side was, I mean, made it better, and whose side didn't make it better? So I understand where you're coming from, because
Yeah.
if you collab, it's got to be
Yeah.
in a situation where you should be able to, if it's a tour, the two of you should be there. But then you cannot
Exactly.
go out
Exactly.
and do one side and the other side is not there. It's not
Yeah.
that
Because
I agree.
I've seen a situation here locally where two artists have collaborated, local artists,
Okay.
and it was a huge hit, huge success, you know. And at the end of the year, it was a December 31, a big concert at the National Theatre here in Accra, and that artist who made the song a hit had traveled to Canada.
Wow.
And everybody bought a ticket, and they came in, they were waiting to hear that song. And here, the owner of the song was on stage, and that artist never showed up. He was in Canada. And it was a big disappointment.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was a big disappointment. You know, people wanted to get back their money from the gate. I mean, from the activity. They said no, they have to pay back their money.
Really?
You know? Yeah. So and this guy was on stage trying to do that part of the song, you know. It was sad. It was sad.
Yeah.
I knew that artist had traveled. But the audience who bought a ticket, they came in, they wanted to hear the song, they wanted to see this artist doing it live on stage, and he wasn't around.
Yeah.
You know?
So yeah,
and this was sad.
So I agree with what you're saying, because it connotes legal implications too, because if people want to say it connotes legal implications. So I understand exactly what you are saying. Collab is fine, but then after that, what? If it becomes a hit, then what? Do you go on a road to sort of promote it? Like you just said, the other artist was en route to Canada. Maybe he had a gig. He had also signed a contract. And sometimes when you go into the studio, as we know, we don't know what is going to be a hit or not. But then at the end of the day, what you said makes a lot of sense. My question to you would be, another question to you would be, how do you measure success?
Similar to what I wanted to ask.
I took your money.
Good question.
How do you measure success?
Well, for me, success is not about money.
Yep.
Good.
Nice.
Good.
Success.
Glad to hear you say that.
Good answer.
Good point.
Yeah,
Good answer.
success for me is to see me making other people happy. When other people are happy because of me, I know I'm successful. You know, when others are happy because of me, then I know I'm successful. You know, it's not about money. Money is good, but having a lot of money, I don't measure that as success.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
What I measure about success is to make others happy.
For sure.
You know.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
But my giving out, the love I give out, my time, my strength, you know, the love I show, my giving out is what makes me successful.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Good answer.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have to tell this to artists all the time. It's not about the money. If you're wanting to make your millions, you're only going to be disappointed. I'm sorry to say. Not always, but you got to do music because you love it first. Petraa, I think you and I should collab, and I just shouldn't sing on it, and then it would be a hit.
Wow. Wow. I can't wait to hear that. I can't wait to hear that.
That'll be it, Ron. You make the music. You make the music. I sing, and we can have Shasha on there and TYB.
That's right.
I love it.
Yeah,
I love the edition.
Well, I think we can come up with something. Yeah? Let's plan and come up with something, man.
Oh yes.
Yeah, most definitely.
You know, TYB. When you write the music, the history of music in Ghana, you cannot take away the name of TYB from Ghana's music history.
God, I was hiding this.
TYB is made big hits in this country. You know, just recently I was driving and your music was on radio. You know, I wanted to record and send it to you, but I was on the highway. I was on the highway. I couldn't get it recorded. But your music sounds fresh when they play it on radio.
Yeah, thank
TYB,
you.
I mean, your music sounds fresh when it's on radio, no doubt. And everybody dances to it. The youths, they dance to it as if they were around when the music was here. So TYB, is a hit maker, no doubt. Big.
Why I didn't pay you to promote me this afternoon, right?
That's why
yeah, but TYB, when I was playing covers,
yeah,
I used to sing your music.
No kidding.
Yeah.
No kidding.
Bands in this country, the bands all over the country, they were playing TYB's music. TYB's music was part of our set list.
Shasha.
TYB's music.
Shasha, this show is for you. Shasha, this show is for you.
What I'm trying to say is, some of us, you guys, TYB, you guys were ahead of us. You know what I'm saying? And we sang your songs in our cover bands. You know what I mean? Yeah. So
cool.
he's somebody I hold in the very high esteem, no doubt, big time. Yeah. And
oh my God,
it was his turn. It was his turn, and I raised the curtain. I was a curtain raiser for his turn.
Oh, stop it!
I was a curtain raiser for his turn.
How much you paying this guy?
This was in 1996. 1996. TYB was 1996, right?
Yeah.
96 or 97.
Around that time. But this is your show.
96 or 97.
This is your show, not TYB show.
I was the curtain raiser. For TYB.
Wow.
Yeah.
TYB.
There you go.
The No, he did that. He did. I mean,
right now.
he based in Canada. He based in Canada. The promoter brought him an ambulance, an ambulance,
Oh yes,
and took us around the country. And I was a curtain raiser. They play high life. I play reggae. So I play reggae as a curtain raiser before they come on stage as main acts. Yeah, and this was somewhere in 1996, 1997, thereabout.
You are the special guest, Shasha, not me.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Feeling special today.
So I'm super excited.
Special man.
Yeah, I'm super excited. TYB is hosting me today on his show. I mean, it's a great time for me. Great time for me. Yeah.
Shasha, the whole idea of this radio station is to create a platform where we are conversing right now to open it up, because there are a lot of artists out there, and these artists have never been heard. They are the voiceless. They don't have, they have to go through payola and all those kind of stuff. But most of them are even better than us. They have not been discovered.
Of course,
that's why this one is there right now. But then, as people who have been in the business for quite a while, I think what you're saying this afternoon, this morning, this evening, where listeners are, they are gems, because you've shown us the other side of you, and then you're projecting what where we have to be and where we have to go. And I appreciate that. I really, really, really appreciate that. And
thank you so much.
And your humanitarian side is so commendable. And please keep on doing what you're doing, because you've been in the business. There are so many of these young artists out there. They are making tons of money. Like somebody said, there's a difference between being rich and projecting how rich you are. If you take Warren Buffett, for instance, he is filthy rich. He doesn't go out there to buy things to show off to people. He rather uses it in his business. But there are some of us in the business where when they make it, that's the end of it. They get all these kind of stuff. Sure, they built that. They went for them. But from what you said, if some new artists are out there, or if you have made it in the musical world, please look back. Look at you, where you came from, and help others, because Shasha's foundation and what he has done back then from AIDS to the present is very commendable. And Shasha, you know what? It's not all about the music. It's about the substance and the person who is involved in all these things.
And I've done it with UNICEF. I mean, UNICEF used me for Say Yes for Children. And it was a great success too. I did HIV. I've done Say Yes for Children. I've done, Say No to Drugs, and many, 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 benefits, and now I'm doing SHASHA MARLEY Foundation, So yeah.
So Petraa, Ron, you have any parting words for Shasha? Ron,
I'd say Shasha, keep promoting TYB. He loves it.
I love that.
That's right.
I commend you. Like TYB has said, all I can say is that what you're doing for the humanitarian things cannot be spoken of highly enough. Kudos to you. I just give you 2 thumbs up, and I wish you all the best in your career and your goals. It's been a pleasure speaking with you today. You are a true gem that people can really look up to.
Yeah, it's my honor. Yeah, it's my. I think next time I got to be in TYB's seat, and TYB will be here in Ghana.
Yeah,
and I'll be interviewing. Yeah.
And with Ron too. We are going with Ron.
That's right. Yeah.
I love that.
And Petraa.
Yeah, I just want to say, Shasha, it's a pleasure. I'm so happy you got to finally meet, beyond social media. And I'm just honestly, you're an inspiration, not just to me, but to listeners all over the world. You have a very charismatic, wonderful energy, you know, and you're inspiring so many people with your words and your works. Keep doing it. Keep glorifying the Holy Spirit and his works. And yes, it's a pleasure, you know, keep making great music, you know. Lots of love from us at Lupe.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And I must say thank you so much for having me. You know, I'm super excited to meet Ron, you know, for the first time. And, you know, anytime you guys are in Ghana, I mean, you have a home, you know what I mean? You have a home, you know.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
HWY, I'm looking forward to see you again. You
Of
know?
course, and next time you're not going to promote me, I'll promote myself.
That's right. You know?
Yes,
You know?
folks. So what?
There's a friend of mine.
Go ahead, please.
Friend of mine in Toronto who's watching. William.
Mhm.
William is
William.
watching from Toronto. I want to big William up. He's coming home in first week in December.
Mhm.
I want to say, William, looking forward to see you again at home. Yeah. Bless. One love.
One love. And Valerie
Yeah.
Gray, Valerie, thank you for joining with us. And I would like to also give a shout out to Kwekweje. He's from Amsterdam. He's in vacationing in Ghana. And all the listeners out there, thank you for being with us. And thanks for sharing your space and time with us. We'll see you again next week. That's in
Listen,
7 days. Go ahead, please.
Talking of Amsterdam, you know, I've got two big friends coming from Amsterdam, and they're arriving in Ghana for the first time in Africa on 25th November. And this is Dirk Williamson and Mary Van der Mee. Mary Van der Mee and Dirk Williamson. They're coming in Africa for the first time, and they're arriving in Accra on 25th December, and I'll pick them up. Mary, I know you're on the line, so I'll see you soon in Ghana. Bless.
So, Mary, yes, you have a very good time. You have a very good
Cheers.
time.
Bye-bye. Bye. Bye-bye.
Yeah,
Bye.
cheers.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Thanks,
You too. You
Sasha.
too.
Take care.
Petra, see you on Instagram.
Yes,
see you on Instagram.
sure.
Yeah.
One
Ron,
love.
you gotta be on Instagram too. One love.
Okay, I'll sign up to you. Yeah, I'll be right there with you.
Cheers.
Okay.
Cheers.
Okay.
Thank you.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Take care.
Okay.
Bye. You too.
We'll talk later.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Folks, that's where the rubber meets the road. And it's the end of the program. We'll see you in 7 days. I love the Afrobeat Music Talk Radio. The program has been Highway 6 to Africa. With me, Ron and Petraa, we say thank you for sharing your space. Bye-bye.
Bye, love you.
Take care, everyone. See you next week.